Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something we all deal with, but maybe don't think about enough, our dental health.
It's fundamental, isn't it?
Totally. And, sometimes you leave the dentist and you run your tongue over your teeth and think, wait, did my teeth just get gappier?
Ha! Yes, that's a classic word.
Or you see things online, maybe saying brushing is just some modern fad.
Right, those myths float around.
So in this deep dive, we want to cut through that noise. We'll look at the history, the science, and give you some really practical stuff for a healthier smile.
And show why dental care isn't some, made-up demand. It's a hard demand, something humans have needed for, well, millennia.
Exactly. And we're framing this around a key idea.
Yeah,
Maybe dental health is like 3 parts genetics, but 7 parts maintenance.
that's a great way to put it.
So if genetics is only part of the story, what does that big maintenance piece really mean? How much control do you actually have? Let's unpack that.
Yeah, because it's easy to just blame your genes, right? But the sources we looked at really emphasize your daily habits and getting that professional care. That's the real game changer.
Okay, so let's start there. This idea that ancient people had perfect teeth. You hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Natural foods, no sugar. So flawless teeth, right?
Well, it's more complicated than that. Looking back, it's true that, say, pre-2000 AD, people had way fewer cavities.
Because of the diet.
Mostly, yeah. Rough foods, almost zero free sugars. That definitely helped fight decay. But things started changing around 1000 AD with settled agriculture, more grains, softer foods.
Ah, so cavities started creeping up then.
They did, and today,
Yeah.
our cavity rates are something like 80% higher than just 2,000 years ago. It's a huge jump. So yes, less sugar meant fewer cavities, but that wasn't the only issue they faced.
80%. Wow. Okay, so fewer cavities, but not perfect teeth. What else was going on in ancient mouths?
Well, the flip side was tooth wear. Really severe wear, actually, especially going back maybe 4,000 years.
From the rough diet.
Exactly. That same coarse food that prevented cavities was grinding down their teeth, sometimes right down to the pulp, the sensitive bit inside.
Ouch. That sounds painful.
Oh, absolutely. It led to inflammation, infections, sometimes even holes right through the jawbone. Today, ironically, it's usually cavities that cause that kind of pulp exposure, so they sort of traded one problem for another.
Right, so they swapped decay for wear and tear. But you mentioned something even more widespread in the sources, the silent killer. Gum disease. Periodontal disease.
This is where the myth of perfect ancient teeth really crumbles. Studies on ancient remains, they're quite shocking.
How so?
Well, samples from 2000 BC in West and South Asia showed gum disease in like 42% of people. But then you look at British skulls from tens of thousands of years ago or Yugoslav skulls from 2000 years ago. 100%. Every single one showed signs of gum inflammation, periodontal disease.
100%.
Seriously. For those populations, losing teeth because of gum disease was basically inevitable. It completely shatters that image of healthy, ancient smiles. Gum health was a massive universal struggle.
Wow. Okay, so if it was that bad, they couldn't have just ignored it, right? What did they actually do?
Yeah.
Any early attempts at, dental care?
They absolutely tried. The records show it was definitely a necessity. Look at China, for instance. You've got mentions in the classical poetry about teeth like white cowrie shells being beautiful.
So they cared about how teeth looked, even then.
For sure. And the Book of Rites talks about gargling with salt water in the morning.
Hey, people still recommend that sometimes. That's amazing. That really connects to that hard demand idea. Do they have tools too?
They did. The oldest toothpaste recipe we know of is over 1,500 years old. Used things like soap pod and ginger. Probably didn't taste great.
Soap pod and ginger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll stick with mint, thanks.
And toothbrushes. During the Tang Dynasty, they had brushes made from pig bristles. Apparently, they looked a bit like small shoe brushes.
Pig bristles. Can you imagine? Makes my electric toothbrush feel pretty luxurious.
Doesn't it? But the point is, all this shows people have been actively trying to care for their teeth for, well, over 10,000 years. It's not new. It's a fundamental human need that's just evolved as we have.
Right. It underlines that this has always been important.
Always.
Okay, so let's jump forward to today. Let's talk about that weird feeling after a professional cleaning that my gaps feel bigger thing. It came up a lot in the sources.
Yes, it's super common. And it's really about perception versus reality. Feeling bigger gaps isn't a sign of damage. It's actually proof the cleaning worked.
How so?
Well, think about what's often in those spaces before the cleaning. You've got inflamed, swollen gums, maybe some pus if there's infection, and layers of hardened plaque, calculus. That stuff physically fills the gaps.
Ah, so it's like gunk filling in the natural space.
Exactly. The scaling just removes the gunk and the inflammation goes down. What you're feeling is the actual healthy space between your teeth that was hidden before. So bigger gaps. That just means your gums were inflamed and there was buildup. The cleaning revealed the healthy state.
Okay, that reframes it completely. The cleaning didn't make the gaps, it revealed them.
Yeah.
Like cleaning a dirty window.
Precisely. It exposed the truth of your underlying tooth structure.
Got it. But what if someone has more going on than just surface stuff? What's involved in deep scaling?
Right. So deep scaling is for when gum disease, periodontitis, is more advanced. Normally, the little pocket between your gum and tooth is only about 2 millimeters deep.
Oh.
But with periodontitis, that pocket can get much deeper. We're talking 7, 8, even 10 millimeters, a whole centimeter deep sometimes.
Wow.
So deep scaling uses special tools to go down into those deep pockets below the gum line and clean out the plaque and calculus stuck on the root surface. It often causes some bleeding because those tissues are inflamed.
That's pretty intensive.
It is more involved than a standard cleaning. And afterwards, the dentist often puts an antibacterial medicine, like Periocline, around the gums to help fight infection as it heals.
Makes sense. So after all that scaling, regular or deep, they usually do polishing. And some people wonder, is this really necessary? Is it just an upsell? What's the deal with polishing?
That's a fair question, but no, it's definitely not an upsell. Polishing is a really important part of a thorough cleaning.
Why, though? If the scaling removed the calculus.
Because scaling removes the big deposits, but tooth surfaces aren't perfectly smooth. They have tiny natural pits and grooves, microscopic roughness. That's where a plaque and calculus love to attach first.
Okay, so scaling gets the visible stuff, but leaves the rough texture behind.
Exactly. Polishing smooths out that microscopic roughness. Think of it like sanding wood before you paint it, or maybe waxing a car.
Right. Makes it harder for things to stick later.
Precisely. It makes the tooth surface slicker, so bacteria have a harder time reattaching. This helps the cleaning last longer and reduces future buildup. It's gentle, usually done with soft rubber cups. It's about creating that smooth surface for lasting health.
Okay, so polishing is functional, not just cosmetic.
Definitely functional. Now, that's different from teeth whitening. Whitening is purely cosmetic. It doesn't offer any health benefits, just changes the shade. Important distinction.
Crucial distinction, yeah. Polishing helps health. Whitening is just for looks.
Got it. Okay, let's switch gears to what you can do at home every day. Starting with the big one, electric versus manual toothbrushes. Are electric ones really worth it?
There's still debate, but the evidence points pretty strongly towards electric. It's mainly about efficiency.
How so? You can brush hard with a manual one.
You can, but it's not about force per stroke. It's about the sheer number of strokes and the type of motion. An electric brush vibrates or oscillates incredibly fast, maybe over 100 times a second.
Wow. Yeah, and often in multiple directions. So for every one stroke you might make manually, the electric brush might deliver, say, 40 cleaning movements to the same spot.
40 to 1. Okay, that's a huge difference.
It really is. It just cleans more thoroughly, more consistently, especially in those tricky spots.
But what about that tickly feeling some people get? Especially near the gums.
Ah, yes, the tickle. That's the high frequency. It can feel weird at first, especially if you're pressing too hard or aren't used to it. But that vibration is actually good for the gums. It's like a gentle massage, helps with circulation.
So it's a feature, not a bug.
Pretty much. And a great way to feel the difference is the tongue test. After brushing, run your tongue over your teeth. You'll likely feel a much smoother, slicker surface with an electric brush than you can typically achieve manually.
Good tip.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got our efficient electric toothbrush. Where should we be focusing most of our brushing effort? Is there a critical zone?
Absolutely. The single most important area is the gum line, right where the tooth meets the gum.
Why there specifically?
Because that's the front line. That's where plaque builds up first and tries to sneak down under the gums. If you let plaque sit there, it causes gum inflammation, and eventually it can damage the bone supporting the teeth. Keeping that gum line junction meticulously clean is key to preventing bigger problems down the road. It's the heavy-duty zone.
Gum line, got it. But we always hear brushing alone isn't enough, which brings us to flossing. Still a challenge for many. What's the best approach? Picks or string?
Right. Brushing misses about 40% of the tooth surface, the size between teeth. So flossing is non-negotiable. Now, those little plastic floss picks, they're convenient, sure, but the floss on them is often thick and rigid. If your teeth are tight, it can be hard to get in, and you might even snap it down and hurt your gums. They're okay in a pinch, but not ideal for thorough daily cleaning.
So You prefer the old school string floss.
Definitely. The kind on a spool, usually 50 meters or so. It's generally thinner, more flexible. You can adapt it better to the tooth shape.
And the technique, it's not just about popping food out.
Yeah, absolutely not. The main job of floss is to scrape plaque off the sides of the teeth. You need to gently slide it down, curve it in a C shape around the side of one tooth, and slide it up and down a few times, going just slightly below the gum line. Then do the same for the adjacent tooth. It's that pull and scrape motion that removes the sticky film.
That C-shape, hug and scrape.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. What about people with bigger gaps? Maybe older folks, or where gums have receded a bit. Food gets trapped easily there.
Yeah. For larger gaps where floss might feel ineffective, interdental brushes are fantastic.
What are those exactly?
They look like tiny little bottle brushes, basically bristles on a wire handle. They come in different sizes, usually from about 0.8 millimeter up to 1.5 millimeter wide.
And size matters here.
Hugely important. You need to find the size that fits snugly in the gap without being forced. If it's too big, you'll injure your gums, cause bleeding, maybe even infection. If it's too small, it won't clean effectively. You might need a couple of different sizes for different gaps.
Right, don't force it. Find the right fit. Okay, one more tool. Water flossers, or oral irrigators. Where do they fit in?
Water flossers use a targeted jet of pulsating water to flush out debris. They're great for rinsing, getting food particles out, especially around braces or bridges, and cleaning deeper pockets.
So, are they as good as string floss?
For the mechanical scraping of sticky plaque off the flat sides of teeth, generally no. String floss still does that specific job better. But for overall flushing, reducing inflammation, and reaching tricky areas, they provide a really good additional clean. Think of them as a powerful rinse that complements, rather than replaces, string floss or interdental brushes for most people.
Okay, a complementary tool. Good to know. So we've covered history, pro care, home care. Let's circle back to our main theme. 3 parts genetics, 7 parts maintenance. What actually falls into that 3 parts genetics bucket? I mean, sometimes I really do wish I had shark teeth.
Huh. Yeah, that shark envy is real. We only get 2 sets, unfortunately. So the genetics part, the 3 parts, that's the stuff you're born with. Things like the size and shape of your jawbone, your facial structure, the natural alignment or direction your teeth erupt in.
So that's why some people naturally have crooked teeth.
Exactly. Or sometimes extra teeth, supernumerary teeth, or maybe they're born missing some permanent teeth. Those are largely down to your genetic blueprint.
Okay, makes sense. That's the hand you're dealt. So what about the other 7 parts? The maintenance we can control.
This is where you have huge influence. For those genetic alignment issues, like crooked teeth, orthodontics is incredibly effective. Starting treatment early, maybe around 8 or 9 after permanent teeth come in, can guide things into place.
So you get a nice straight arch.
Right, and a smooth, even arch isn't just about looks. It's much easier to clean effectively, less places for bacteria to hide. But beyond orthodontics, for everyone, that 7 parts is about consistent, correct, daily care. Brushing properly, especially that gum line, flossing, or using interdentals daily.
A fundamental.
The fundamentals, plus regular professional cleanings. Even if you have genetic factors working against you, or like that listener you mentioned who has lots of fillings already, your consistent effort makes a massive difference to your future dental health. You really can manage that 70%.
That's empowering, actually, knowing that most of it is in your hands.
It absolutely is.
So this whole deep dive really hammers home that dental health isn't passive. It's an active, lifelong job.
Yeah.
It's woven into our history, shaped by science, but ultimately driven by our daily choices.
Yeah, what struck me is how even thousands of years ago, people recognized this was a hard demand. Their methods were basic, sure, but the need was clear. Now we just have much better tools and understanding.
We really do. So wrapping this up, thinking about it all, you shared that note about toothaches, how they're not just pain, they literally affect your ability to think, to function.
Yeah, that quote, toothache is not a disease, but it can kill you when it hurts. It really hits home how debilitating it can be.
It does.
Yeah.
So for everyone listening, given how much dental health impacts your focus, your comfort, your overall well-being, what's one small, consistent action you'll commit to starting today? One thing to invest in that future you, the one who definitely doesn't want that brain-fogging toothache. Think about it.
A little effort now pays huge dividends later.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. We'll catch you next time.